Hey guys, it's Carly here, and I'm doing yet another ranking video. I believe this is actually the second to last one, if I am not mistaken, and today I'm going to be doing the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise. And honestly, this franchise, I know a lot of people like it, and they put it up in there with like Friday the 13th and Halloween and all that stuff, but when I was younger, I didn't really watch these movies all that much. I think I had only seen like Part 1, 3, and 7 or something, New Nightmare or something like that, and Freddy vs. Jason as well, but I never really got into the franchise, and like I said, there were some that I didn't even watch really. They weren't on TV too much, I don't think, and that's kind of why. And also, I think I thought they were gross. So, and back then, like, I had a very weak stomach for stuff like that, so I was just never really interested. So I just recently watched these all, like, last year or 2 years ago or something like that. Some of them were first time watches, so it's kind of hard to rank these since, like, they're not ones that I've watched over and over again, and I'm not as familiar with it as other franchises. And but with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and give my rankings on them, and starting with the worst one would be the remake, Nightmare on Elm Street. I saw this one in theaters when it came out. Forget when this came out. I think it was like 2010, so I was probably only like 13 or something. And I remember at the time I actually thought it wasn't that bad, and like I kind of liked it. Saw it with my mom, and upon rewatch, I just rewatched this one this year, I think, or maybe at the end of last year, and I could see why it is not a very good movie at all. It's basically just like a copy of the original, but with like characters that you really don't care about. They're very bland and boring, and there's just some effects that are not as good as in the original, which you would think would not be the case since the original is from the 80s and this is a newer movie. So, yeah, this movie is not too good. Would not rewatch that one very much. Then next up we have Freddy's Dead. I know a lot of people have problems with this movie. They think it's awful and it ruined the entire franchise. Personally, I didn't think it was too bad. Like, I mean, I could see how it, like, kind of made the franchise a total joke, and it kind of sucked because it was the last one in the original movies, but for me it was still kind of fun, and I didn't really mind the comedy aspects. But then again, that's probably just because I'm not a huge fan of these movies, but I mean, it's lower on my list anyway because I do see how it is a bad movie compared to the other ones. So yeah, don't really mind Freddy's Dead, but you know, it's a bad movie. And then next up we have Part 4. Sorry, I'm looking on this 4-pack, so it's kind of confusing, but I would go to Part 4, The Dream Master. This is one that I have trouble remembering, really. It was like this one, Freddy's Dead, and Part 5 are the ones that like I'm not too familiar with. So for me, I believe this one I just did not find as good as some of the other ones. I didn't really like how they kill off all the characters from Part 3 right off the bat. At the beginning, I feel like they could have had more time with them, and just the story wasn't too interesting to me, so did not care for this one too much, but it's still kind of lukewarm. It's kind of in the middle range. And then after that, we would have Part 5. I remember enjoying this one a little bit more. Like I said, don't really remember these movies as much as I would like to, but I did like Part 5 a little better than Part 4. I think I found the story to be a little more interesting with the idea of the child having the dreams and things like that. So yeah, enjoy this one a little bit more than Part 4, but I don't know, these middle ones are all kind of equal to me, I guess. Like, I don't love or hate them, so. But anyway, coming in next would be Part 7, or I guess this wouldn't count as Part 7. It's New Nightmare. It's kind of its own movie. It's a weird movie. I like this one quite a bit. I think it's, for the time, it was kind of an original plot. The only thing is now, the more I rewatch it, the more I don't like it that much. I feel like it's a little too long and gets boring at times, and also quite cheesy for what it's trying to do, make Freddy, like, put him in the real world and things like that. But I enjoyed this one. I knew I watched this one when I was younger. Didn't really grow up watching it, but it's one that I did catch when I was younger, so I appreciate it for what it is. Like I said, though, I wouldn't rewatch this one too much, just because I feel like it gets worse and worse in value as time goes on. Then, next up, we would have, well, actually, I almost forgot about Freddy vs. Jason. I don't own that one, but that would probably be next on my list. I forget what it was on my Friday the 13th countdown, but I do like Freddy vs. Jason. I haven't gotten around to buy it yet just because I'm lazy about it. Next time I see it, I'll probably pick it up just to try to complete both of my collections, because that's the only one in the Nightmare series that I don't have. And I believe it's the only one in the Friday series I don't have now either, so I gotta get on that. But yeah, I do like that movie. I feel like it's got its problems, and it could have been better in the long run, but for what it is, it's a cool movie. Appreciate it for trying to combine two horror icons. That's pretty cool. So I lost track of where I am. I think that's the number 4 slot for that one. And then getting down to the top 3, my next one would be A Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2. I really enjoy A Nightmare Part 2. It's got a total 80s feel to me. I know, like, I had heard, like, a lot of people not liking this one, and I wanted to check it out for that reason, to see what the problem was. And I guess, like, really the main problem is just that it doesn't follow along with the mythology and all that stuff. But for me, that doesn't really matter, and it is the second movie, so really that wasn't all determined, and they went a different route for Part 3. So for me, I really don't care. I really enjoy Part 2. I think it's a pretty fun movie, and obviously one of my favorites in the franchise. I like how Freddy's pretty dark in this one as well. And then at number 2, I would give it to A Nightmare on Elm Street Part 1. This is obviously a classic movie. I really enjoyed it. I enjoy everything about it, really, except for the ending. I feel like the ending could have been stronger, and I know a lot of people agree. And then finally, Part 3 is what I would give to the number 1 spot. I think it is the strongest in the franchise, and it is the most fun, and just the idea behind it. And some of the kills are probably the best kills there are as well. Yeah, I can't say enough good things about that movie. That's Part 1 and Part 3 are probably the ones that I've rewatched the most out of all these movies. So yeah, that's my countdown for these movies. Sorry if it sounds like I'm like hating on them or just not feeling them that much. I just never really got into this franchise as a child or even a teenager or anything like that. Like I said, I just watched some of them like last year for the first time, and really I don't even feel like rewatching some of them. Like, one time watch is enough, but I would definitely go back to like Part 1, 2, and 3. Probably the first 3 are ones that I would really go back and watch and enjoy and appreciate. But anyways, once again, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the final video, which I'll probably have up next week. So thank you for watching, and stick around.